Hello everyone and welcome to the Starni Games Developers Gameplay episode 6. Today I'll be playing the first operation of the Empire of Japan campaign in Strategic Mind the Pacific. So in episode 4 we've covered the first operation of the US campaign.
Following the treacherous and
Since time
And now we will jump into the Japanese campaign. So this is the attack on Pearl Harbor. The goal is to cover the first operation in all of the first operations in all of Strategic Minds campaigns, and then we are holding a vote right now as to what campaign, the full playthrough of which campaign to make. So please vote your opinion in the comments below. Right now I think there are some people interested in the US Pacific campaign and in German campaign from Strategic Mind Blitzkrieg. So there are 4 campaigns to choose from: Strategic Mind the Pacific, US campaign or Japanese campaign, Strategic Mind Blitzkrieg German campaign, or Strategic Mind Spectre of Communism USSR campaign. So please let me know like what you would be interested in the most, and like which campaign we should prioritize. Okay, so let's start the Japanese campaign for now.
following the
Since time immemorial, the Japanese were renowned warriors, stalwart, honorable, and bound by duty. However, the 20th century came, and proud descendants of Yamato State found themselves overshadowed by the world's superpowers, the United States and the British Empire. Striving to become their equal, the Empire of Japan began to amass military strength and quickly ran into a dire shortage of resources. It led to conquering the territories of China and Indochina. The United States and its allies were quick to react, condemning Japan as a warmonger and putting an embargo on all strategic resources imported by Japan. Hull's note was soon to follow, putting an ultimatum to the Japanese government: leave all newly conquered territories or suffocate due to a trade embargo. You, as Admiral Isoroko Yamamoto, the commander-in-chief of the combined fleet, have to carry out the Emperor's order and wage war against the United States and its allies in the Pacific Ocean. You understand that this is an insurmountable undertaking, as the enemy economic power is tenfold and its numeric advantage on the sea is too overwhelming. Yet none of it is a valid reason to forego your duty before His Majesty the Emperor and your country. Bound by honor, you come up with a desperate plan of how to equalize the forces.
Admiral Yamamoto, reporting the results of the exercises. All targets were hit. During the past few months, our pilots have improved the effectiveness of their torpedo attacks significantly.
Good. I will personally express our gratitude for their distinguished service.
Fighter pilots are asking for permission to use aerobatics during training flights and military exercises. Previously, we have forbidden such training due to a high mortality rate among pilots.
Permission granted. If the war breaks out and our pilots are ill-prepared, we will have many more deaths. They should train rigorously.
Yes, sir.
My, how beautiful the blossoming Sakura is. Do you not think so, Yamamoto? It has already started to blossom while our Navy is still resisting any decisive actions against the United States.
The Sakura blossom is magnificent indeed, but soon its flowers will fall. Would not the whole of Japan fall as well if we enter the hopeless war against the United States and Great Britain, Army Minister Tojo?
The Army is sworn to protect the Emperor, but without fuel we cannot perform our duty. Thus, we need to occupy Indochina and utilize its oil production.
That action will only worsen the situation. I am afraid as of now, 80% of our fuel is imported from the US. If we invade Indochina, we will get a powerful enemy and still be left without fuel.
So what? Do we have to keep dancing to the Yankees' tune? Absolutely not! We cannot wait for their wretched pittance. We must take what is necessary to protect our Emperor and our homeland without paying attention to anyone else.
The Navy as a whole and myself personally stand firmly against the war with the United States. They will immediately be joined by Great Britain and the Netherlands. Their combined forces are too powerful.
Our samurai spirit and faith in the Emperor will help us overcome any foe.
I see it as a not well considered childishness. Only the personal command of the Emperor, whom I faithfully serve, will make me lead the Navy against the United States.
Japanese troops invaded southern French Indochina on July the 28th, 1941. In response, the US government imposed trade sanctions on Japan, including the freezing of Japanese assets in the United States and an embargo of oil exports to Japan.
The whole note. It is preposterous. How many more insults do we have to endure? The Yankees want to keep us on a leash, put us in a doghouse, only to be fed their leftovers. This is equal to a declaration of war.
You have become a prime minister, General Tojo, but have not become more prudent. Did you really expect the United States to ignore our occupation of Indochina? A wise man will always find a way to avoid...
Admiral Yamamoto, can you not finally understand? If we succumb to the United States without a fight, we will surely become just one more state in the United States and the Japanese nation will be lost forever. Whereas, if we accept the fight, uneven as it may be, then even if we lose, our descendants will be able to revive Japan and keep on living while holding their heads high.
It is not you who will be dying, General Tojo. It is Japanese youth.
If necessary, I am more than ready to give my own life for the Emperor, our country, and its future.
And who gave you the right to decide for the whole of Japan?
His Majesty the Emperor has decreed that we develop and execute an attack against the United States fleet in order to protect our interests in the Pacific Ocean.
I will comply with the Emperor's will. I expect that we will officially declare war on the US right before the beginning of our attack. We must not dishonor our country in the whole world's eyes.
I think you have a point, Admiral. I will make sure to warn our diplomats.
Admiral Yamamoto, the Navy headquarters have devised a plan of attack on Pearl Harbor according to your instructions. Our first air fleet will annihilate the U.S. Pacific Fleet with one decisive blow.
I consider it my duty to remind you that I always consider this fancy plan of yours an unjustified gamble. We must proceed with time-tested methods, not some fantasies.
Time-tested methods are great if the opponents have equal strength. We, on the other hand, have to make a miracle for Japan to come out victorious after this war.
Aye, aye, Admiral.
Ugaki, please provide our diplomats with the exact timing of the upcoming attack. They have to make public our declaration of war before we begin the attack.
Consider it done.
Tomorrow I have to leave Tokyo together with my fleet. I cannot say where we are headed, but I won't be back for quite a while. I'm afraid that food shortages will soon begin all over Japan. With this, you will not starve.
Yamamoto-san is too kind to me. I will miss you so much. Please, write to me as often as you can. Your letters are always so wonderful.
I definitely will. You too should not forget your good old Yamamoto.
From Prime Minister Tojo to Admiral Yamamoto. The die is cast. The great Japanese nation is going to war to protect its sovereign land and legitimate interests from this insidious enemy's assaults. Japan has never confronted such a powerful and dangerous adversary as the USA. However, with the help of the gods, we'll carry out our plan. The samurai spirit and willingness to sacrifice will lead us to victory. The Emperor has entrusted you, Admiral Yamamoto, with the combined fleet, as you are the most dignified and skillful naval commander. The fleet is facing the task of great importance, and the fate of the nation depends on your command. Now you must deal a sudden, devastating blow to the enemy, which they will not be able to recover from. I order you to start the operation with full confidence in the power of the Imperial fleet and in the blessings of ancient spirits on your noble mission. Glory to the Emperor!
Admiral Chuichi Nagumo, Commander of the Task Force speaking. We are now within striking distance from Pearl Harbor. No activity of the American fleet is detected. I request to clarify the tactical situation and the location of the targets utilizing the latest intelligence.
Great, Admiral Nagumo. Now my Chief of Staff, Admiral Matome Ugaki, will provide you with relevant data.
According to the provisionally adopted plan, we must defeat the forces of the U.S. Pacific Fleet, concentrated in Pearl Harbor, with a sudden and powerful blow from our carrier-based aircraft. At the same time as the airstrike, our submarines should secretly enter the harbor and torpedo the enemy ships. Unfortunately, both U.S. Pacific Fleet carriers left Pearl Harbor a few days ago. Their current location is unknown. However, according to the intelligence reports, the 8 battleships that constitute the U.S. fleet's essential strength are compactly concentrated in the eastern part of the harbor. In order to weaken the enemy's forces enough, we must sink at least 4 of them. Although, it would be preferable to have all of them destroyed. Also, it is crucial to neutralize American aviation. It is an easy target now, as it is concentrated at the airfields. I suggest you bomb them before the majority of the enemy planes can get airborne. Besides ships and planes, the infrastructure must become our next goals. The enemy's northern, central, and southern oil storage facilities, the shipyard, and the power plant in Pearl City. I would like to stress again that Pearl Harbor must be struck suddenly and severely. We should not give the enemy a chance to recover and organize effective defense. There are radar systems in the north of Oahu. With the help of those, the enemy can see our forces from a distance. This has to be considered during the operation. That's all.
Well then, I command to start the attack. And may our ancestor spirits be with us.
Okay, so there is quite a lot to take in, and this operation is quite different from most of the operations we have in Strategic Mind. So there are a few things that differ. First of all, the enemy won't fight back you, on at least not on the couple of first turns while they are taken by surprise, because the war between the Empire of Japan and the United States hasn't started yet. So their US troops not really expecting our attack. That's why for the first couple of turns they won't fight back effectively. So we have to be very deliberate with our planning and deal with the AA guns first, because they can overwatch and really make lots of trouble for our planes. And then we have to wipe out the enemy aircraft while they are on the airfields. So your top priority should be anti-aircraft guns. Number 2 priority is enemy airfields, and after you took out both, then you can basically finish off the enemy with impunity, although we have a limited number of turns. So we should really use all of our resources and carefully plan so that we have enough time to destroy the oil tanks, the power stations, the shipyard, and 8 battleship concentrated in the harbor. So, and we also have to destroy all enemies, so we have to deal with all enemy ships and AA guns and basically all units there. So we don't have the capture all flags. We already have 175 points because we don't have to capture on all the infrastructure, since we don't have a landing force. But we still have to destroy all the enemies, and it's quite complicated task. Here is the big fishy. So as you can see from the minimap, our strike force is split into 2 big parts with carriers and carrier-borne aviation, and we have some submarines in here and in here. So let me make the music volume a bit lower. Okay, so first of all, what we could do is use air reconnaissance to get some idea about the enemy in this area. Also we have the radar stations here, so they also should be destroyed.
Verify the enemy's location.
Okay, so we have basically we have coastal batteries here and some anti-aircraft gun here and most likely here, and 2 radar stations. But radar stations, they basically provide vision against our aircraft within this area, but since the enemy haven't Air Force haven't taken off yet. It's no big deal, so we could deal with them later. It's better to bomb all the airfields and destroy the enemy air force before it takes off, because they have lots of planes, and if all of them take off, like you can see some of those here. So basically they have I think quite a lot of airfields and at least like 3 aircraft on each of those. So basically they have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, like 6 airfields. That's 18 aircraft units. That's basically more than we have, so if those take off, we are in big trouble. Yeah, so let's also scout this part.
Verify the enemy's location.
Okay, so no AA here. Let's see. Okay, so there is an enemy destroyer here. Probably the one that historically spotted the Japanese submarines trying to sneak into the harbor.
Hello, Grace. Could we eat something else for a change?
Okay, let's start moving here.
Underwater silence makes me mad. Silent and deadly. Finally, some orders. Exploring the area. We are ready to sink their ships.
Okay, one more destroyer. So destroyers are tricky to take down, so also we have to deal with this coastal batteries somehow.
We will not let the Emperor down.
Verify the enemy's location.
Okay, so there is one more destroyer here. Okay, let's see what we can do. So we should move carriers closer before launching our aircraft from them, because that would save the aircraft some fuel and extend their effective range, basically.
Just show us the target.
We surpass pathetic Gaijins in everything.
Okay, let's actually move the carrier, HQ carrier here.
If the battleships are the muscle of the Imperial Navy, we are its brain.
We will have to defeat those coastal batteries and move carriers closer, or like start moving in that direction. Although we might not need to destroy the coastal batteries now that I think of it. Maybe we should just go like there. Yeah, and move the carriers around the island. Because I think stationary... I don't think you have to clear all enemies. Yeah, you do not have to clear forts, submarines and civilians, so like static coastal batteries, forts, not naval, yeah, so those are not necessarily have to be destroyed. So we shall see.
Our guns are always ready. We bring the storm. Firestorm. Verifying the enemy's location. Who do you want me to kill?
Okay, let's try to attack this.
Our American friends have panicked. We are intercepting their messages. SOS. We have been attacked by the Japanese. Japanese aircraft have reached Oahu. And this is real. This is a Japanese attack.
Looks like those Japanese have ruined the Americans' day off.
Poor souls. We have freed their
Okay, so we've destroyed one anti-aircraft gun. There is probably more here. So let's send this guy here. Also, as you see, carriers get experience when the planes get experience. So they basically level up if their planes are doing well. Because the carriers themselves, they're not much of a fighters. Okay, so it better keep them at a safe distance, basically. Okay, let's keep attacking this position, I say.
There better be targets. Things are going to explode. Will there be fighters covering us? Poor souls. Running away? Our bombs are going to catch up to you. A tactical bomber is here.
Maybe we should deal with those guys.
I'm in position.
We will not let the Emperor down.
Do you require assistance? Entering the designated area. Do you require assistance?
We surpass pathetic Gaijin in everything. We've gone easy to big mistake. If the battleships are the muscle of the Imperial Navy, we are its brain. Bow to the gifts of the Empire.
Okay. Now let's move those carriers closer.
It's a good day for a naval battle.
And let's move those guys closer and already start firing on this airfield. So each damage to the airfield also damages all planes in it. So 8 more damage and all these planes will be destroyed. Yeah, I think this is it for this turn. So let's see. Okay, I messed up. I haven't launched those planes, so I guess I'll have to use autosave, basically. Yeah, I guess this one. So if you haven't disabled the autosaves, you will have an autosave every start of the turn and end of the turn. So if you end a turn like by mistake, or you want to get back to the end of the previous turn, there is an autosave for that purpose. So that was good for me, I guess. We don't have any like battleship here because historically it was 4 carriers and they're like escort. So I really miss those float planes. Although, wait a second, we have a seaplane that could be launched from a submarine basically. So that's neat. I forgot about it. So, well, I remembered it when I thought about the battleships float planes. So historically Japanese submarines could launch float plane, which is a really interesting feature, I would say. So let's launch a couple of those guys. Yes, maybe go here. Okay, so there is... I'm looking for AA guns, basically. Because... that's something we should take care of as soon as possible, basically. Okay, so it seems that this area is really empty, so we have to deal with this AA, and this AA. Okay, so... let's start with this one, I guess. Do we have any fighters? I guess not. But let's finish off this, guys. And let's also deal damage to the most like remote. Okay, we can also recall float plane if we want to remove it, or if we don't want the enemy to destroy it, and because it will cost us 15 prestige as a replacement. So I'll recall this one to free up the space to attack this AA. So it may look like I'm just, you know, hitting the enemy and like I'm not really get any sort of retaliation, so it may look weird, but in fact if you do anything wrong, basically if you haven't planned correctly, you won't get 400 points. You could complete the operation and get like silver or golden victory, but you won't get like absolute victory in this one unless you plan everything very thoroughly. So I failed a couple of times when we were playtesting it before release, and I haven't played the game for over a year, so I don't really like remember the exact specifics, but I know the general idea, like what your strategy should be to complete this operation. So we didn't want it to be too tough, as it's like the first scenario, but it's just very different from all the other operations, because here it's like you don't get lots of retaliation, at least if you do everything correctly, but at the same time if you allocate your resources, like limited resources, incorrectly, then your whole plan would just crumble and use the enemy air force. The AA will start overwatching you, the enemy air force will take off and start hitting your aircraft and your ships, and like the enemies will start to return fire and it will all just crumble. So we should be really careful with how we proceed and how we take on this operation. Okay, so let's end the turn and see what happens next. Let's double check our aircraft first. Yeah, everyone attacked, so... Okay, so this destroyer is actually the one that's on duty, so it's moving and attacking our units. Luckily it got there, so it didn't like locate our submarines here. So let's do some recon here. I say let's bomb this AA, and I'll put because when we bomb this AA gun it could retreat any of the adjacent hexes, so I'll start putting my planes above the water because it wouldn't retreat to the ocean hex. I guess we need one more plane there. So, I guess we could use dive bomber. And now we could use torpedo bomber. Okay, we've destroyed it. So I guess they are out of AAs now. Okay, let's just bypass those coastal batteries. I really have no idea what to do with them.
Behind us is the rising sun. Ahead is eternal.
But I think there was one AA gun left here. So yeah, we will have to bomb it first. And we also have this AA. So I guess I'll start by bombing this one. And then keep bombing it. So we need to... yeah, so I shouldn't have moved before attacking this one. This is like first mistake.
The sky is like an ocean, and we are its sharks. We bring death on our wings.
Oh well.
Is here. Let's lose some weight. In unity is our strength. The warriors of the sky are at your command. The weight of our bombs makes me feel more confident. A tactical bomber is here. Explosions look like the rising sun. Good morning. Our guns are always ready.
Okay, so the A retreated unfortunately.
The weight of our bombs makes me feel more confident. We're going to send them our generous gifts. Will there be fighters covering us? Approaching. A tactical bomber is here. Imperial Air Service.
Protectors of the fleet. Searching for the enemy.
The Imperial fleet knows no defeat.
Verifying the enemy's location.
Okay, so we'll have to fire one more turn on this one, and then a bit at this one.
Be careful with
Okay,
the
so
bombs. Those bombs are quite dangerous, you know. What should be destroyed next? Here we come.
guess these guys could refuel and
Approaching.
get out. Hell bomb this one
We
probably.
bring death on our wings.
Okay,
Those bombs are quite dangerous, you know.
these guys can
You can't
help
hide
out here.
this place. Be careful with the bombs. Of course. Is someone observing that area? We bring death on our wings. Explosions look like the rising sun. Good morning, Imperial Air Service. Bow to the gifts of the Empire.
Okay, so I guess we destroyed. Well, it show. Okay, those will be removed probably next turn. Or yeah. So we've dealt with 3 of the enemy aircraft, and we'll keep working on those. So now we could start dealing with the enemy fleet. But I guess we don't have enough movement to retreat then. Okay, let's actually launch it from here. Don't really want. Okay. Okay, so I can attack from here, but it's really risky. So I'm not sure about this. And also, I guess we won't have night turns here because it's all happening during a couple of hours. So really don't want to risk my core sub, but then I'm not sure destroyer can just kill it in one turn. Okay, let's stay away. I guess there is really no rush in there.
Those bombs are heavy.
Okay, let's see which aircraft haven't moved yet this turn. Okay.
Careful with the bombs.
I guess we can launch one more plane to scout this area.
I'm in position.
Okay, let's move in here.
Targeting.
And let's start the firefight. Okay. And now let's launch torpedo. So I guess these guys are done for basically. One less enemy destroyer. But it has a couple more. So
The weight
okay.
of our bombs makes me feel more confident.
Well, I don't really want to attack the AA because we cannot finish it off, so it's really no good. Let's just, I don't know, start bombing this radio station.
What should be destroyed next? The warriors of the sky are at your command.
Well, anyway,
Are there any targets?
I don't have anything else to do for this zero,
Those bombs are quite
in any
dangerous,
case.
you know?
Our strength is in numbers.
Okay.
10 enemies.
Well, let's end the turn. Well, let's see how bad it gets with the submarine. Quite bad, but bearable. Okay, let's start by firing this airfield.
We carry the deadly arrows of the Emperor.
Why is it so on hard
Are
attack?
there new orders from our godly Emperor? Do not underestimate
Okay,
us.
it has to move closer.
I hope the sacred spirits will bestow their blessings on
Okay,
us.
we've
Protectors of
destroyed
the fleet.
this one. So we've got 6 enemy aircraft down. Okay.
We bring death on our wings.
Okay, the enemy AA are operational now.
The Imperial fleet knows no defeat.
Which is really...
Our guns are always ready. They don't stand a chance. We are the fastest. Those bombs are quite dangerous, you know?
Did we miss any AAs?
What does the Emperor want us to do?
Okay.
The enemy won't see us coming. A tactical bomber is here. Their days are numbered. Now,
Okay, destroyed this one. Let's finish off this
going to
one.
explode.
Luckily it's non-lethal damage.
Their days are numbered. Will there be fighters covering us? Things are going to explode.
Okay,
Imperial Air Service.
let's bomb this airfield.
Will there be fighters covering us? Will there be fighters covering us? Only a few bombs left. Prepare to disengage. We bring death on our wings. The enemy's gonna have a tough time.
Oh well, misclicked. Bad for me.
Here we come.
Okay.
Just show us the target.
But I guess it could be helped by this
Entering the designated
destroyer.
area.
Okay, so next turn we'll bomb it down.
We serve faithfully. We found
Mhm.
We will inform you if the enemy is ahead.
We carry the deadly arrows of the Emperor.
Well, now we have only to finish off this AA. So
Be careful with the
let's send this bomber, I guess. It's in dire need of refueling
The
anyway.
enemy's gonna have a tough time. Now they'll go home in pieces. Those bombs are quite dangerous,
Okay.
you know?
Now we've dealt with AA at least, and we have to finish with enemy Air Force
Only a few bombs
ASAP.
left. Prepare to
Otherwise
disengage.
we'll have our hands full.
checking that sector. The Imperial destroyer at your service.
Can we somehow get to this? No, I guess not.
Our strength is in numbers of dead enemies.
We'll have to bomb it with aircraft, I guess.
Do you require assistance?
Okay, so what do we have in terms of aircraft? I guess we can bomb this airfield or this airfield. And that's it.
We bring death on our wings.
Okay, those can help out here, I guess. Okay, let's plan it a bit better. So these guys cannot go there, so they will start bombing here.
There better be targets. In unity is our strength.
Same here.
Are going to explode. What should be destroyed next?
Okay, these guys cannot go there.
Will there be fighters covering us? Those bombs are heavy. Imperial Air Service. Only a few bombs left. Prepare to disengage.
I guess I'd rather bomb this airfield, just in case.
Imperial Air Service.
Okay, it's too far. Let's see what it can do. Okay, let's bomb
Are
here.
going to explode. Those bombs are heavy. Let's lose some weight. Will there be fighters covering us? Let's lose some weight.
Okay, so this airfield is the only one that's left. And I guess we might need to bring back a carrier to bomb it, but
Only a few bombs left. Prepare to disengage.
we shall see.
Only a few bombs left. Prepare to disengage. The Imperial fleet knows no defeat.
Do you require assistance?
Okay, let's hope that the enemy air force will not get up next turn, because I don't really remember, it's either next or the one after it, so let's see how it will proceed. Oh, once again I keep forgetting about the sub, sorry, yeah. Guess I'll have to load the end of the... yeah, I should really check whether I have units that haven't moved this turn yet. So yeah, this is the correct one. So these guys have their engine basically out of commission, so let's use our one per operation emergency repair to fix our engine. So now we got our movement back and we can try and attack this guy and then move out. Now let's attack this guy and hide here. Well, this one will sink anyway because of lots of shell holes. So let's attack some other one.
Exploring the area. We are coming. Exploring the area.
Okay. So now we've dealt with this and we can
All systems operational.
okay, so
All systems operational. Are there new orders from our godly emperor?
mm,
All systems
okay.
operational.
I guess that's all we could do this turn.
Are there new orders
So
from our godly emperor?
yeah, well, let's move these guys here.
Stop. Except
But yeah. Okay, so yeah, this turn is the last turn before the enemy gets their aircraft, I guess. But luckily we had enough time to deal with those. Okay, so let's not move the carriers before we refuel all of our
Are we
aircraft.
fully loaded?
So I guess this one should go
Just
for
a few moments,
refueling.
and we'll be there. Here we come. Only a few bombs left. Prepare to disengage. Only a few bombs left. Prepare to disengage.
we bring the storm. A firestorm. With our aircraft, it is not necessary to come close to the enemy.
Yes, we'll use this one and then move carrier
The
closer.
American air unit on Oahu has ceased to be a serious fighting force. In my estimation, we have destroyed more than half its planes.
It's good to hear that one of the most important operations goals has been reached.
Those bombs are quite dangerous, you know?
Okay.
I'm in position.
Are there new orders from our godly emperor? Protectors of the fleet.
Yeah, let's just go in here, I guess. Okay, we are not getting return fire, so that's good for us. I guess only this destroyer is operational yet,
Only a few bombs
so
left. Prepare to
let's bomb
disengage.
here and get back to our carrier.
Only a few bombs left. Prepare to disengage.
And
Here we come. Only a few bombs left. Prepare to disengage. Bow to the gifts of the Empire.
okay, those guys are also destroyed.
Here we come.
And now we have to bomb this field.
Disengage. Here we come. Only a few bombs left. Prepare to disengage. There better be targets. Only a few bombs left. Prepare to disengage. Carrying bombs to enemy lines. Here we come. Carrying bombs to enemy lines. Only a few bombs left. Prepare to disengage. Poor soul. Will there be fighters covering us? Already there.
Okay, what this fighter could do? Well, I guess just, I don't know, hit this.
The enemy is close. I can feel his fear.
Bombs are gone.
We are the swarm.
Okay, so we have one fighters basically don't have good targets now, so let's re-equip our landed fighter with bombs. This way it can damage infrastructure. So now we can activate bombs and try to finish off this airfield. Otherwise we wouldn't be able to do it on this turn. It's not a big deal because one strength enemy aircraft are not a serious threat, but still. Okay, so now we've dealt with all the airfields, I believe. Yeah, exactly. So now we just have to finish off the enemy fleet and take out all the important infrastructure objects on Oahu. Okay, so nothing to do here. Let's go and start bombing the Pearl City power plant. Okay, we have one torpedo bomber here. What could we do with it? I guess bomb this battery so it doesn't prevent us from moving across.
No one can stop me, except for you.
We have more guns than the entire enemy fleet, if you include aircraft.
What should be destroyed next?
Okay.
We bring the storm. Firestorm.
Okay, let's check.
Let's get back to base.
We are running out of fuel. We will turn into an island soon.
Okay, let's start fighting these guys.
Fire systems? Start the engine.
So they cannot turn our way, so they don't return fire. And if we deal with those guys, we can. Okay, we cannot, but we can deal with these guys with these destroyers. So.
Just show us the target.
We bring the storm. Firestorm. If the battleships are the muscle of the Imperial Navy, we are its brain.
Okay,
We serve faithfully.
I guess we have to go for it. It's not the best trade, but whatever. Okay, here is the operational destroyer.
Would we eat something else for a change? Imperial submarine here. Silent and deadly. Finally, some orders. We are ready to sink their ships. Launch torpedoes. Silent and deadly. We are ready to sink their ships. You check for escort ships. What's that? They won't escape our aim. Silent and deadly.
Okay, so we did some damage to the enemy battleship, which are basically in the dock and not ready for our attack. And let's check if I, so that I don't
Let's get back to base.
don't forget to move some of my troops one more time. No, I really don't want to.
Running out of fuel. We will turn into an island soon.
Well, that's interesting since. Okay, I guess I won't move my my carriers too much. Ah, okay, so this carrier is full. I guess I've landed all of my aircraft on this carrier, so it's running out of fuel. But luckily this one has full storage, so we are not in trouble yet. Yeah, and these guys have enough as well. Okay, let's finish the turn. Well, getting my destroyer attacked by battleship was not my plan, but I guess we'll have to.
Bombs are gone. Let's get back to base.
Okay, let's finish off this thing.
That hurts. With our aircraft, it is not necessary to come close to the enemy.
Checking that sector. Target acquired. For Japan, hands on the Emperor.
Okay, let's fix the engine. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Start firing.
We serve faithfully. Bombs are gone. Let's get back to base. The enemy's gonna have a tough time. What should we destroy next? The sky is like an ocean, and we are the sharks.
Ah, we found some work for our fighter. Yeah, I guess we have to destroy those
Let's get back to base.
those
You can't hide.
batteries, because otherwise we cannot move effectively with our ships.
Those bombs are quite dangerous, you know? We're going to send them our generous gifts.
Mm,
Those bombs are quite dangerous, you know? And unity is our strength. We will inform you as we can. Observing the horizon. Which way is? I can't wait any longer. Can we be friends with them? Yes, not. Oh, are you see us? We are coming.
okay, destroyed this one.
Notice our approach.
Okay, so I guess. Oh, so I now understand. So this is the battleship with Doris Miller on board, who started firing at our destroyer. I guess Doris meant not only AA but the main gun this time. So this is a US hero from the US campaign. So there you can play with it and like get this hero and use it on your units. But here it's just like historical figure, and historically, when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, he even wasn't like supposed to man the gun, but his duties were different on the ship. But when they were attacked, he bravely jumped to the gun and like started shooting at the enemy planes. So like it's still like I don't think there is like confirmed information that he hit many of those, but at least he like did his best. And also when his like one of the senior officers was wounded, so he kind of carried that wounded officer and make sure he got the help. So for his bravery he got Medal of Honor. So now this battleship has like extra AA shoot per round. Can fire 3 times instead of 2. And like, yeah, so this is the speed reload skill. And yeah, so this is Doris Miller battleship, so I guess we'll have to try and take it out as soon as possible.
Those bombs are heavy.
Okay, so what aircraft do we have left?
Bombs are gone. Let's get back to base. Carrying bombs to enemy lines. Bombs are gone. Let's get back to base. In unity is our strength. Bombs are gone. Let's get back to base. Imperial Air Service.
Shipyard, power station, yeah, okay. So there is not a whole lot to bomb with these guys. Let's just send them and destroy the radar stations, I guess.
Their days are numbered. What should be destroyed next?
Same
Their
here.
days are numbered. Those bombs are quite dangerous, you know? Bombs, away. There better be targets. Bombs are gone. Let's get back to base. What should be destroyed next? Approaching. In unity is our strength.
Okay, we have this fighter with bombs, so let's use it to finish off the radar
Are there any
stations.
targets?
Bombs are gone. Let's get back to base. Approaching.
Okay.
Bombs are gone. Let's get back to base.
We are running out of fuel. We will turn into an island soon.
Bombs are gone. Let's get back to base. Here we come. Bombs are gone. Let's get back to base. In unity is our strength.
Observing the horizon. Do you require assistance?
Okay. Let's
We
check.
have more guns than the entire enemy fleet, if you include aircraft. If the battleships are the muscle
I
of
guess
the Imperial
those
Navy, we
northern aircrafts are running out of fuel, so we really should try to refueling more of our aircraft down in the south. Okay.
if
I
the
guess
battleships
it's
are
time to end the
muscle
turn.
of the Imperial Navy, we are its brain.
Okay.
Finally, some orders.
Let's actually hit this guy. Oh, misclick. Okay, let's attack this guy. Oh, there is one more. Well, I'd rather try and hit this guy, I guess. Okay, we have one more torpedo. Okay, we have to finish off this guy somehow. I guess this is top priority for now.
Good morning.
Do you require assistance?
Oh, maybe we can do it.
Start the
Let's
engine.
see.
Engaging it. Have a taste of our power.
Yeah,
I'm in position.
seems to work fine for now.
Engaging
Yeah,
in combat.
dealt with this guy,
Imperial Air Service.
so shouldn't have worried that much.
Imperial Air Service.
Okay, let's look for torpedo
The
bomber
weight of our bombs
to
makes me
deal
feel more
with this
confident.
guy. Okay,
Carrying bombs to enemy lines.
guess this
Just a few
one.
moments and we'll be there.
Mm,
Imperial Air Service.
okay, let's bomb this, I guess,
You
and
can't
start
hide
moving
from the blast
south.
waves. Those bombs are quite dangerous, you know?
Okay, let's use torpedo bombers to deal with ships, and
Here we come. The enemy's going to have a tough time.
let's use dive bombers to deal with the remaining
What should be destroyed
infrastructure.
next?
I guess at this point we have to differentiate those two. We could do this earlier, but it was not that important, although I guess it could provide better results. But I think I still
We have incapacitated the power station in Pearl City as we were ordered. I hope the result is worth the ammunition wasted.
So, you consider the attack on the onshore facilities a waste of resources? Don't forget that the destruction of the power station will leave all the military installations of Pearl Harbor without power for at least a few months. This will severely limit the enemy's ability to use the base.
Okay, I got... well, historically Nagumo was like thought that they shouldn't attack anything but ships. So basically he called off the attack before they could deal serious damage to the shipyard or the oil storage facilities. So yeah. Okay, let's start bombing the shipyard, let's say.
They will pay
I've put bombs on one more of my fighters, the famous Zeros. Although this one is out of bombs, so I guess he should get back to a carrier.
Always first.
And let's put bomb. Okay, he has bombs. Yeah, right.
All systems operational. Caution, the enemy may be nearby.
Okay, we can actually bomb this from our ships, so let's do exactly that. Okay, yeah, so this oil tanks could be destroyed from the sea. So I guess we should concentrate our planes on the shipyard, oil tanks, and one more oil tanks, and the enemy ships. So dive bombers and fighters with bombs will bomb these ones, and torpedo bombers will concentrate on the ships. So all B5Ns should attack.
Approaching. You can't hide from the blast waves. Just a few moments and we'll be there. The weight of our bombs makes me feel more confident. There better be targets. Just a few moments and we'll be there. Are we fully loaded? Here we come. Things are going to explode.
Three shell holes probably not enough. They will deal 2 damage. So
Be careful with the bombs.
maybe we could use dive bomber for him.
Let's lose some weight.
Yeah, that should be enough.
The weight of our bombs makes me feel more confident.
Well, I did say that dive bombers should concentrate on the land facilities, but right now I feel like they should help out a little bit to the torpedo bombers, and maybe then they should they could concentrate more on the land part. Okay, this one will survive, unfortunately.
We bring death on our wings.
Okay, this cannot reach onshore facilities, so it will attack this battleship.
Good morning.
This can go for the
Will there be fighters covering us?
what's this? Okay, maritime hub. Don't care about it. Yeah.
There better be targets.
We We should be going back for refueling. Just show us the target.
We will not let the Emperor down.
Okay, I guess that's
We
it.
are running out of fuel. We will turn into an island soon.
Almost out of torpedoes.
The weight of our bombs makes me feel more confident.
Yeah. Well, this one should be finished off. Maybe we could use our destroyer to do that.
We will inform you if the enemy is ahead. Greetings. Be advised, 4 American battleships have been sunk.
Thank you for your great job, Admiral Nagumo. After losing half their battleships, the enemy fleet does not pose a big threat to us anymore.
From Prime Minister Tojo to Admiral Yamamoto. Convey my compliments to all members of the strike force. This is a great day for the Imperial Navy. I am now convinced that our naval power is in good hands. I have no doubt that, thanks to you and your valiant men, the enemy fleet will soon be destroyed and driven from the regions of the seas so vital to the Empire.
Okay, so we got silver victory, but we obviously want more. So let's keep firing on those.
Just show us the target.
Okay, these
The
fuel
Imperial
tanks
destroyer at your
are
service.
destroyed
We are
now.
the heart of the Imperial Navy, no matter what the battleships say.
Okay, let's see. We
Almost out
have
of torpedoes.
only one sub with
What's there?
torpedoes left.
Oh, sailors.
We should be going back for refueling.
And those guys
We
can
found
torpedo and start firing on the harbor.
Are we fully loaded?
Those bombs are quite dangerous, you know?
Okay, let's
In
get
unity
back,
is our
get
strength.
back for
Those bombs are
refueling.
heavy.
Uh,
You can't hide from the blast waves.
No one can escape our fire.
Firing.
We have destroyed the shipyard according to the plan. Although I do not consider this objective our priority. It would be much more useful to attack the enemy's fleet, not the shore.
I understand your point of view. However, I'm sure that as soon as our fleet leaves, the Americans will start repairing their damaged ships. Destruction of the plant will definitely hamper the process.
okay, so we've destroyed 2 of the fuel tanks, and there is mostly battleships left. Battleships left,
Be careful
so
with the bombs. Will there be
let's
fighters
start
covering us?
working on
Imperial
those.
Air Service.
Okay, this is dive bomber.
Those bombs are heavy. Here we come. The enemy's going to have a tough time. We bring death on our wings. Is someone observing that area? Only a few bombs left. Prepare to disengage. Carrying bombs to enemy lines. Approaching. Poor souls. What should be destroyed next?
Okay, yeah, this is
The
also
enemy's
dive
going to have
bomber.
a tough time.
Yeah.
Those
Okay,
bombs are
let's
quite
see what
dangerous,
we
you
have
know?
in terms of
Poor
torpedo
souls.
bombers.
A tactical bomber
B5,
is here.
any B5 ends
Poor
left?
souls. Those
Okay.
bombs are quite dangerous, you know? Their days are numbered. Will there be fighters covering us?
Mhm.
Be careful with the bombs.
Yeah, let's
Bow to
attack.
the gifts of the Empire.
Only one Northampton class heavy cruiser left. So I guess we're almost done. There is only like this oil tanks and the heavy cruiser left for us to deal with. basically destroyers almost out of. Yeah, well, destroyers have some ammo left, but the submarines are out of torpedoes. Yeah, let's leave it at that and end our turn. Okay.
Only a few bombs left. Prepare to
So
disengage.
I guess we could move in here.
Here we come.
Yeah.
Carrying bombs to enemy lines. Approaching. Is someone observing that area? Things are going to explode. The weight of our bombs makes me feel more confident. A tactical bomber is here. Are we fully loaded? Be careful with the bombs.
Okay, let's try to torpedo it with destroyers and maybe just finish off with our planes.
Our guns are always ready.
Okay, let's bomb this.
Zero chances. Do not underestimate us.
Only a few bombs left. Prepare to disengage. Things are going to explode.
No one can escape our fire. The enemy won't see us coming. We are the fastest.
So one thing that I didn't do, but which could also help you if you have trouble with this operation.
All the American oil tanks are bombed out.
We have achieved an important strategic success. These fuel stocks would have lasted for 10 months in an all-out war for the whole U.S. Pacific Fleet. Without them, Pearl Harbor becomes practically useless for the Americans.
Yeah, so one more tip that I haven't followed myself. It's not necessary, but it could help you a lot, is to, while at the very beginning of the operation, while all of your aircraft are still on carriers, you can change their equipment. So you could get like incendiary bombs for them to help deal with the enemy AAs and stuff like that. So you should really look through equipment and equip them before the first wave of bombers starts to attack. If you want to like maximize your effectiveness in this operation.
Battleships are sunk. Incredible.
We would never have achieved such a result had we let the Americans prepare for the battle. Now I see that the plan of a sudden attack on Pearl Harbor was the only right one.
Okay, so we've done it, and we got Vice Admiral, Order of the German Eagle, and Order of the Sacred Treasure class from Japan. So this is like foreign award. Germany likes that we destroy Pearl Harbor. Okay, so it wasn't that action-packed, I guess, but it could be very action-packed if you are not following a very specific plan in this operation, because if the enemy gets to, once again, as I said, gets to employ all of its air force and all of its AAs, and then the ships start to be activated one by one, so it could become disaster really fast. So this went really smoothly. Yeah, so I guess I could tell you a bit more about some specific mechanics of Strategic Mines of the Pacific. So for example, here it's number of deployed aircraft / total carriers capacity. So in any operation you cannot deploy more aircraft than your carriers could carry, basically. So right now we have 4 carriers, each of them can carry up to 4 aircraft units. That's why we have 16 out of 16. Yeah, also for useful tips, do not forget to use seaplanes from your submarines in the Japanese campaign. That's something that US forces don't have in the US campaign, so it's only available in the Japanese campaign. And there are quite a lot of special units later. Basically for like kamikaze planes and stuff like that, so in that regard Japanese campaign is quite interesting, I would say. Yeah, so we have 3 turns left, but many of our planes needs refueling and rearming. But I guess if we really needed to, we could destroy those coastal batteries. Luckily we don't have to. Yeah, so this was the first mission, and you know, when we were designing the Pearl Harbor attack, it was really tricky because we even considered like foregoing this operation, because we didn't want it to be like you to be like passive observer, like you just destroy everything and don't get any retaliation and everything. And then so we've come up with the idea when the enemy like gets reactivated step by step, so when you play it first time you would probably fail or like get not as good result because you don't know the exact strategy like that you should probably follow to get the perfect victory here. But then you just figure out how to do it, and it's, you know, kind of an interesting task or like question how to deal with this operation. So we've added quite a lot of secondary objectives to make it more like you have the advantage, but you have to calculate everything and get the like right priorities and stuff to get through. Also, if we would play longer, the enemy would get some reinforcements and stuff, so we really cannot stay here for too long. Yeah, so it has its own, like, in a way it's easy and in a way it's complex, so it just poses very different challenge from our usual operations. So I guess it's refreshing to have one operation like this, but if all of them would be like that, that wouldn't be fun. So it was interesting to play it after a while and revisit like the first project that I've been working on and the part of Starni Games. So we will also cover the second operation of the Japanese campaign, but I guess that would happen in 1 or 2 episodes from now, because next time we'll be playing the second operation in German campaign, and then we'll get back to finish Japanese and US second operations, and then I guess by then we'll have the vote results and we'll decide like which campaign should get a full playthrough. So please leave your suggestions or your votes in the comments. Yeah, I guess this is it for the attack on Pearl Harbor. Let's see the cinematic, and I guess I'll leave upgrading my navy for the next episode.
We did it. The Americans could not even grasp what was happening by the time we sunk their battleships. If we keep going, the victory is not far off. Long live His Majesty the Emperor!
It is a victory. However, our main goal, the destruction of the enemy carriers, was not achieved.
Admiral Yamamoto, we have just been informed that our diplomats in Washington delivered the declaration of war 1 hour after our attack.
This is unimaginable. Our diplomatic service has brought unthinkable dishonor upon the Emperor and the people of Japan. We had to declare war on the United States before the attack. While our pilots and seamen have demonstrated combat valor and heroism of the highest esteem, our diplomats have stained our valiant effort with indelible shame. All right, what's done is done. Command Admiral Nagumo to attack Midway on his way back. We must not lose the initiative.
Aye, aye, Admiral.
The commander of the combined fleet, Admiral Yamamoto, has ordered you to attack Midway immediately, sir.
I am the commander of the First Air Fleet, and it is for me to decide whether it is expedient to attack or not. We will not do that. Our fleet has just sunk more than half of the U.S. Pacific Fleet, and after that, we are ordered to bomb some useless atoll? This is as if a sumo wrestler has just become a champion and was immediately sent to buy some groceries at the nearest market. It is unthinkable. I will not tolerate such disregard for me and my men. You can tell this to Admiral Yamamoto himself.
Aye, aye, Admiral.
You know about the quote about sumo wrestler? It's like actually the Japanese, if I remember correctly from what I've read, the Japanese officer told that Nagumo was saying something like that when we got that order, and he didn't attack Midway on the way back. Because they could also get Midway, not by surprise, but unprepared basically, and it could have been very different because later they had Battle of Midway and it didn't work out for the Japanese, but this was like half year before that, and they could have get away with the attack, although Nagumo thought it risky, and maybe it was, so we are not here to judge his decisions, but yeah, so also you might have noticed in the cinematics that Yamamoto is missing 2 of his fingers, so that's also the fact. Yes, so here are our 2 of our awards that we've got. Yes, so yeah, I guess we'll learn HQ skills and upgrade the fleet before the next operation, which will be Battle of the Philippines. Capture the Philippines and neutralize the US Asiatic Fleet. Major landing operation, naval battle.
The attack on Pearl Harbor ensured our temporary superiority over the U.S. Pacific Fleet. Yet, the course of the war will depend on how we utilize it. Apparently, the Navy will have to proceed with a series of offensive operations involving land forces to capture key islands in the Pacific. I therefore advise you to ensure the training of Special Naval Landing Forces, the Rikusentai units. I imagine they will have plenty of work very soon.
As you could have seen, there was a portrait of the young emperor in the wall there. Overall, it's really neat headquarters they've got on board battleship Yamato. Well, I don't think it's Yamato right now, but so at the beginning of campaign, in the introductory sequence, you've seen a battleship Nagata, which was the flagship battleship, but later on they moved to a Yamato battleship, I think in a few months or something. So right now they should be still on Nagato, but later it's basically Yamato, but the room is the same. Because I think it's like battleship, some of the battleship officer compartments or something like that. So we used a film, a Japanese film filmed in 70s, in 70s I believe, as a reference for this room, battleship room I believe, because we couldn't find any real like photo footage of the real headquarters they had, but we knew they were on a battleship, so we looked for anything as authentic as we could find, and I think it worked out quite well. Okay, I think that's it for today, so let's save the game and name it episode 6, I guess. Okay, so thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. So if you have any questions, or you would like to vote on which campaign gets full playthrough, please leave your comments on our community hubs or in the comments to this video on YouTube. We read all the comments, so your opinion will be considered during the next episodes. And yeah, if you want to know more about any mechanics of the Strategic Mind series, feel free to ask. Yeah, have a good day and see you next time. Goodbye.